I keep forgetting that they really like to throw that flashbang. God, why am I fucking doing this? Why did I promise to do this? Of all the fucking things, I didn't have to say anything. I didn't have to actually agree to do this, and I would have gotten to affiliate just fine. To get out of Metroid brain back into Soul's brain. So maybe this would be a good exercise. Well, no, there's no such thing. This is not. Let's see how this looks. Yes, keep those settings. No, don't. What the fuck, man? God, devs couldn't even fucking... Yeah, keep that. Alright, whatever. New game. HUD on, subtitles on. HUD always display. Fine.
Perhaps you've seen it. Maybe in a dream. A murky, forgotten land.
There was some stuff that was this game that was good and continued to live on, but this game as a whole, man, what a fucking troubled mess.
A place where souls may mend your ailing mind. You will lose everything. Once branded. The symbol of the curse. An augur of darkness. Your past, your future, your very light. None will have meaning, and you won't even care. By then, you'll be something other than human. A thing that feeds on souls, a hollow. Long ago, in a walled-off land far to the north, a great king built a great kingdom. I believe they called it Drang Lake. Perhaps you're familiar. No, how could you be? But one day, you will stand before its decrepit gate without really knowing why.
I could smile like that too. That's exactly why whenever I eat, I turn my camera off. In all seriousness, like doing that's not easy for me to do. And I'm just trying to get. I'm trying to like not be so self-conscious about it. Mainly because one day I am planning to get implants to fix that issue, which came from me, well, not going to the dentist for 10 fucking years. There are a lot of people who said that they really like this intro. It makes no sense. They're trying to say that Drang Lake is underwater. And that the fireflies made the portal to Drang Lake. Like, none of this makes any sense.
Time after time. is your fate. The fate of the cursed.
They weren't called cursed in Dark Souls 1. Chosen undead. And a hollow is the completed process of the dark sign consuming you. This game didn't even understand like the fucking lore in Dark Souls. This game doesn't know what the fuck it's doing. I started this game once, but what I started before was the Scholar of the First Sin edition. Not Dark Souls 2. This is Dark Souls 2 vanilla. We're gonna do this, and while we do this, we're gonna tear this game apart and discuss why it is so bad. And we'll eventually beat it. Because beating this game is not something I would consider to be challenging or difficult. Nice little rusted coin. Thank you. It's the nicest thing you can do for me, given how bad your game is. Oh yeah, don't pick on those monkey dudes. Leave them alone. They'll kill you. Oh yeah. Souls lore makes no sense when you see it the first time. Dark Souls 2. I don't know if I would call it interesting lore. I would say it tells a story that does exist, that one could... Oh yeah, that's right. Never mind. No. Okay, we're gonna go pick our class and our appearance, which will be largely ignored. What do you think? I think we should create a freak. Can we create a freak in this game easily? Is that possible? Come down here and get this. Smooth and silky stone, so we can immediately start using that. And one of the main reasons I want to do this over Scholar is because Scholar just immediately starts putting those petrified assholes in your way. And, like, these people are going to start talking nonsense.
What seems to be the ruckus?
Oh my, your face. The face of the curse. It's an undead. An undead has come to play. They all end up here. All the ones like you. You spoke to that kind old dear, didn't you?
And so talking about their person above ground, like where the fuck are we?
Finished. You'll go hollow.
Also,
Yes.
when this game originally released, it didn't look like this.
Prey
It looked like
upon
shit.
men. Feast upon their souls.
And it was not advertised how
This is the fate
it looked.
of the cursed.
I didn't have any questions left
What is
over in
your
Dark
name?
Souls 1. I'm not sure. What are those questions? The game answers for you. Let me know. Like tell me what you find interesting about the lore. I don't know anything about this game. At least the story-wise.
Your own name. Here's your reward
Fuck.
for sharing. It's a human effigy. Take a closer look.
Who do you think it's supposed to be?
Think back, deep into your past.
But like I said earlier, there are some things in Dark Souls. What happens after the kindling of the flame, and what happens if you don't kindle it? Well, this game wouldn't exist unless you do kindle it. So, Warrior is our starting class. We made our starting class. Gift is going to be Bonfire Ascetic. We don't want healing. We don't need healing wares. We don't need that. We don't need a homeward bone. Actually, do a female build. I'll change the hair. The only reason I'm doing this, wait, is it the female or is it the male? I forgot which one gets the good. Who cares? Oh shit! Whoop. That's what I'm saying is that if you don't kindle the bonfire, the first flame, that's it. The cycle's over. No more. No more Dark Souls. Let's go farther. Is there any saving this with hair? No, there's not. Oh my god. His own hair is clipping into his face. Yep.
All people come here for the same reason. To break the curse. You're no different, I should think. Doesn't stand a chance.
Well,
Well, you never know.
the end of Dark Souls 1 is pretty definitive if you don't kindle the first flame. You're hailed as like the lord of mankind. You know, the person who ushers in the Age of Darkness, which is also known as the Age of Man. The Age of Fire ends. In this game, the Age of Fire is still alive. The canon ending of Dark Souls 1 is that you kindle the first flame.
You no longer.
The canon ending of this game is you continue the cycle. That's why everything in Dark Souls 3 ends up so fucking warped and distorted.
Again.
Is because the Age of Fire was supposed to end, but these people just kept on continuing the cycle on and on and on until to an unnatural amount of length. And so like everything was all like fucked up and shit in Dark Souls 3. Jesus Christ. Alright, and this is the main reason I'm doing this. I don't give a shit about the shields. I'm not going to use any of that crap. That's all going into my box. I don't agree with that. And oh great, it's doing this again. Alright, that means we have to quit game. Save and quit. Thank you. I would need to see like an actual like item description or something like that that would allude to that. That would hint that because my understanding is that the Age of Man is what gets brought in if you don't link the fire. If you don't link that first flame, the Age of Man comes in. The cycle ends. And that's the whole purpose of Dark Souls 3, is to end the cycle. Wait, did it? Oh, no, it didn't. Okay. Okay. So yeah, it gave me a bunch of these, like, shitty shields. I'm not going to use any of these. And this one would technically be better, but... yeah, these are all, like, weird. I don't really understand exactly what they are. But anyways, the ending of Dark Souls 3 is bringing an end to the cycle once and for all. That, I don't think anybody can... sorry, I lost that. Okay. I don't think anybody can argue that. And it's kind of... It's explicitly told to you that if the fire flames... or if the fire fades... flames... what the fuck am I talking about? If the fire fades... that's it. That's the end of the Age of Fire. That's why Gwyn linked the first flame. He was scared. See, that's the thing, is I know the lore of the first game very, very well. Let's torch real quick. I only get 5 minutes, but it'll save me a headache later on. Light that torch, and then set that light, and that light real quick. Let's do that. Put this away, and we'll come do that later. We're going to be back here later anyways. Jeez, this game feels so sluggish compared to like Elden Ring or Dark Souls 3 or even Dark Souls Remastered. No, I don't know the lore of the second game as well as the first one, but I never bothered because I didn't find it as interesting. I didn't find the world as interesting. I was wholly disinterested. Yeah, we're going to be coming back for that later. So when we come back to take care of that asshole, we'll light the rest of the torches. And for a while, I was actually, I believed wholly with my heart of hearts that Solaire was actually Gwyn's firstborn son. Because you're talking about a dude who's obsessed with sunlight. Like, he's obsessed with finding his own sun. And he possesses inhuman strength. And it's just like, it constantly builds upon itself. Him being... really? Oh, but it does less damage. Okay. Why does this game feel like this? Jesus. Let's at least get through the tutorial. We got a few minutes. Come here, you. No, you're not. Imagine trying to do a no-hit run of this fucking game. Hold on one second. Because you're saying that the ending of the first game... You're talking about the ending of the first game. Like, what we don't agree on is the ending of the first game. The ending of the first game has nothing to do with the second game. Hold on one second. I need to... leave or discard? It's leave, right? Leave.
Yeah.
Amber herb. So yeah, and shut up. I'll come back later. Oh. Okay. But yeah, what we disagree upon is the ending of the first game. And what it means. I think, and again, that it's not something that, you know, I think is left up to your imagination. I'm pretty confident that what happens if you don't link the fire of the first flame is explicitly stated. How can we still be in the Age of Fire if we let the Age of Fire end? That's kind of the, you know, that's kind of what these games are built upon. It's like Gwyn's legacy, so to speak. His legacy was for you to succeed him. Oh man, that always makes my palms sweat. And that's what brings in, you know, the continuation of the Age of Fire. It gets continued to an unnatural degree. That's why the world of Dark Souls 3 is so warped. Is because from Jesus, everything in it feels like I'm playing in quicksand. I didn't even need that. Yeah, like when like the whole point of the first game is like, you know, you're carrying on Gwyn's legacy. That's pretty explicitly stated as well. Is that it's our job to carry on the mantle of Lord Gwyn. We are to be Lord Gwyn's successor. That's what pretty much everybody was told when playing Dark Souls 1. Unless you knew to go straight to the Four Kings after getting the Lord Vessel, you probably did not know about Dark Stalker Kath, whatever, however you want to say his name, doesn't matter. But he provides the alternative to succeeding Gwyn. Okay. Right? I love how the tutorial is like, yeah, here's falling damage, by the way. And chip damage that you're going to experience because we spam enemies everywhere. So again, most people found Kingseeker Frampt before they found Darkstalker Kath. And that right there is kind of a hint as well. He wants to end the Age of Fire. As in, he wants you to not link the first flame. He's called Darkstalker Kath, and he details what happens at the end of the Age of Fire. Whereas a lot of people just go straight to Kingseeker Frampt, who wants to continue the Age of Fire. These primordial serpents are fucking weird and don't make sense, and they are at odds with one another. These are all fucking dumb. That's the direction I came from. This is the direction I'm going in. I guess I already did that, then. Yeah, I did. Okay. Tutorial done. Yeah? So, Darkstalker Kath, clearly, he very, very explicitly details what happens in the Age of Fire, or if the Age of Fire ends. It feels like you're just not paying attention to what I'm saying. My understanding is that when you start this game up, the Age of Fire is still, that is the age that we're in. We are still in the Age of Fire. That's why there's bonfires. That's why there's primal bonfires. That's why there's, like, all of that stuff is still there. Humanity isn't really there, but I think they just wanted to do a different system for, like, the online and stuff. So I think it was probably a smart idea to make it to where you could always be invaded instead of having it like a switch. Yeah, so if So if we're not in the Age of Fire right now, then how the fuck are we in the Age of Fire in Dark Souls 3? How is there still a first flame in Dark Souls 3?
Are you the next monarch?
Because in Dark Souls 3, they go back to the whole Age of Fire,
Bearer of the
cycles, linking the flame to continue the cycle. That's why there's all those Ember the Lords of Ember that we come across.
Take this with you.
And
May it ease your journey.
like that's why we have to chase down all those assholes. Those are people who linked the flame over and over and over again. Yorm the Giant, fucking Ludleth or whatever his fucking name is.
He who made Drangleic what it
The
once
Abyss
was.
Watchers,
He
Aldia
who
of the
peered at
Deep,
the
all those
essence of the
people,
soul.
people who linked the first flame.
King Vendrick.
That is not up for debate.
Bearer of the curse for misery.
Okay, okay, yeah, you're just
See what?
okay. Now I can level up. Thank you. God, you fucking rambling lunatic. Oh, and now I actually have a proper healing item that will replenish time. That there. Don't have any Homer bones yet. I will soon. Like, I don't know anything about the lore of this game. I will admit that. This game's lore does not interest me because this game's world is not very interesting to me. Which is why I'm not going to sit here and, like, I'm just going to skip all these guys. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah.
When you've protection.
Sure. Why not? I'm not popular enough to get invaded, so it doesn't matter.
That is a what?
Yeah.
Let-
Shut up. 400 million. They're not up to 1 billion yet. This game's been online for... Oh, well, I guess the servers did go down for, like, a very long time. Let's run around with Majula. And that's probably we're gonna do some shit in Majula. And that will probably be where we have to leave off. Well, we're going to start off with this tomorrow. And we're going to stay on this until I get sick of it, or... It's not that you're... I'm not saying that you're lying. And I'm not saying that, like, there's a very good chance they didn't understand the lore of the first game when they made this game. It was not Miyazaki who worked on this game. That's very important to understand, is, like, he had this very obscure and strange lore in his head. Did he pass all that on to the guy who took on the mantle of continuing the, with this game? Miyazaki was working on Bloodborne when this game was in development. Like, when I shit on this game, it's because Miyazaki didn't work on it. It's not a good game because of that. It's lesser because it doesn't have that touch, and it feels disconnected from everything else. Dark Souls 3 feels more connected to Dark Souls 1 than Dark Souls 2 does. And I think that may have been a very intentional decision that they made. There's a very good chance that, like, they were like, let's do something completely different, because Miyazaki had this grand idea in his head, and we're not entirely sure what that is, so let's make our own story. That could have been what happened. Miyazaki was he had minimal input on the events that transpired in like the story. He was a supervisor in name. He was not supervising this project. He was working on Bloodborne. It was very explicitly stated in the run-up to this game. When Dark Souls 2 was announced, everybody was like, yeah, how's it going to be without Miyazaki? It's like everybody knew that Miyazaki was responsible for the Silver Knights in Anor Londo, the archers that everybody struggled with. Hell, even I struggled with it. Can I? That's more damage. I got a beat stick. I got a pointy beat stick. But he was working on Bloodborne. Saying he knew about the, like, are you sure? Did you talk to Miyazaki? Like, I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm like, how do you know that he knew about the lore of this game until, like, after it came out? Even I don't know if he knew about the lore of this game. Lady, I'm just trying to upgrade Estus Flask. That's what I'm trying to do. Thank you. Okay. It's possible. Like I said, he was working on Bloodborne at the time. He had his hands full with Bloodborne. It's a very real possibility that he, like, you know, supervisors don't always know what's going on in a project that has their name on it. My source for this information is I used to be a supervisor. And unless I was explicitly told things, I didn't know what my guys were up to at all hours of the day. I actually ended up having to bust one of my guys down from E3 to E1, from private first class to private. Because of, well, let's go in the wrong direction. God damn it. Let's go in the right way before and I second guessed it. Yeah, I remember having to bust a guy down because he'd been lying to me for days. And I didn't know because, like, how am I supposed to, like, you know, and people with him never spoken to. Probably not. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm not Miyazaki. I don't know what he knew and didn't know. I know that he was focused on creating the story, creating Bloodborne at the time, though. And so, like, yeah, he was may have been listed as a supervisor, but how involved was that role? Maybe and he's gone on the record after the fact saying that, like, he's still, like, you know, he doesn't hate the game. He doesn't hate this game. I don't hate this game either. I think it's a deeply flawed game. It's the worst in the franchise, for sure. Out of all of the Souls games, and Souls likes, I would say this is among one of the worst. But I don't think it's a bad game. It has issues, but so does Dark Souls 1, so does Dark Souls 3. It's just that this game has so many issues that it kind of gets in the way of itself. But I'm also not here to argue about whether or not Miyazaki knew the lore of this game. Maybe he didn't know the lore. Maybe he did and didn't care. Like, maybe he was like, okay, yeah, sure, if that's what you want to do, go with it. And then he tried to, you know, create something out of all that with Dark Souls 3. That's very, very possible. I like that. Do you like that? Do you like getting beat around with a pointy beat stick? It's called a Morningstar, but I can't tell if you're asking a question or if you're stating a fact. With that statement of, and the people with him never spoke with him about the lore. And here's the thing. Here's what he has said about the stories in these games. He leaves it intentionally vague, so that the player can kind of fill in the blanks in how they want. The way he got this idea was when he was growing up, he didn't have a lot of money. And so he often, when getting like books from the library and stuff like that, if he didn't understand like what a word meant or something like that, he'd just make it up himself. He'd just go and make it up himself. And that's what he wanted people to do. He wanted people to have that. He wanted to like challenge their imagination, so to speak. Oh my god, you fucking cocksucker. And we have the game's first major issue is they love to hide enemies around the corner so that when you go and get an item, surprise, motherfucker, that guy will get up and come attack you, and then you take a bunch of damage because that's how Dark Souls 2 works. Like I said, I don't know one way or another. I can't be 100% sure that Miyazaki knew or didn't know about the story of this game. Yeah, I know that fact. I know that he's praised the developer countless times because he's, it's one of his employees, and he's probably sick and tired of seeing everybody shit all over, something that, one of his employees put a lot of hard work into. And I get that. You don't want your employees demoralized. Speaking as somebody who had to manage soldiers, I understand that mentality. I understand that desire to want to, not only support your employees, but maybe he does feel that he did a great job, and, maybe it's just the black sheep because there's a lot of weird decisions that nobody fully understands. But I don't agree that the Age of Fire could have ended and then, like, what did it somehow the Age of Fire returned? That doesn't make sense. But for Dark Souls 3 to make sense, the Age of Fire had to have been continued in perpetuity. Like, they state that's why the world is so warped in Dark Souls 3, is because this cycle was kept on essentially forever. Countless generations. Yeah. Yeah, this game is... It's less full of bullshit. Some enemy placement doesn't make sense. Like, why is a Hyde Knight here instead of over at Hyde's Tower of Flame? Like, we're gonna beat this guy's ass. Whoop. Motherfucker. Hello? And therein lies my other issue with this game. There's a wind-up to the backstab animation. You have to do this stupid fucking, like, punch animation. And if the enemy is moving even the slightest bit, when you do that, like, weird punch animation thing, you're not getting the backstab. Holy fuck! Why did that attack take so much stamina? Hyde Knight Sword. Is this a great sword? No, it's just a straight sword. Really? That's a pretty powerful sword for this point in the game. Don't question it. Don't question it. Just accept my good fortune. And oh shit, it's 11:15. All right, we're gonna get to the next bonfire, and that's where I took it. Hey there, dude. What are you doing? The fuck? Oh, I have lightning on my sword. Okay, what? There is lightning damage. Okay. And my attack is 188. Okay. You say so, video game. I will. Oh, this game doesn't have that hold down thing. Okay. That's gonna be a problem. Whoop. That's not gonna be a problem. Them not automatically. Bonk. Bye. You can tell I've been conditioned to Scholar of the First Sin. Checking around corners and shit like that, where they hid enemies. Like, the enemy placement in Scholar is fucking dog shit. Like, look at the walking animations and all this. Like, who signed off on all this? I was like, yeah, this looks good. This looks like an indie game. Like, the way characters walk is so fucking jank. But yeah, compared to Scholar, this game is fucking, like, this is baby's first Souls game compared to Scholar. But that's why I said what I said. You fucking cheese eating fucking cocksucker motherfucker. Back to Souls games. Alright, I'm not gonna backstab you. I will refrain. I'm gonna drink them. And climb. Luckily tomorrow is Friday, and I don't think that I have a whole lot of work I need to do. But I'm not streaming late, just because I want to get a good start on this game. We'll get a proper start on this game tomorrow for sure. Jing Earn, thank you. You're gonna okay there, buddy? You seem to be having a bit of trouble there. And this is... Ta-da! And now I have 4,000 souls. I'll figure out what to do with those tomorrow.